18 open houses, your feet hurt, and your head is buzzing. Living in a van is starting to sound strangely appealing. But then you hear it. The sound of hope. Of Zillow. You glance at your phone to see a 3-bedroom Craftsman in the right school district. It's perfect, and it just showed up on your phone. Like magic. So sign up for mobile alerts, and we'll send you homes that fit your criteria when they hit the market. And to think, you wanted to live in a van. Zillow. Find your way home.
Right now at the Home Depot, kitted 10-year sealed battery smoke and carbon monoxide alarms start at just $24.97. So, let's worry less. Let's do smarter fire safety. Alarms that won't turn off, and batteries that won't chirp for 10 long years. Let's do this. Get a worry-free alarms, starting at just $24.97. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. U.S. only. See store for details.
Resistance is futile.
And now, a show that boldly goes where no show has gone before. The Week in Geek, with your hosts, David Ducorbier and Brian Held. Here to cover the hottest trends and topics in science fiction news and events, with movie, book, and game reviews, cosplay, comic book, and convention commentary, interviews with authors, media guests, and local fandom. So raise your nerd flag high and prepare to be assimilated. This is The Week in Geek. And now, here's your hosts, David Ducorbier and Brian Held.
Good afternoon, New Orleans. This is The Week in Geek. Am I on? There we go. All right, good afternoon, New Orleans. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier, with... How are you doing today, Brian?
Good. Just walking in.
I hear you. All right, so guys, this is The Week in Geek, and we are getting ready to roll. We have a great show today. You know, as always, we're going to start our show with Skungy and his pick of the week. We're also going to have Les Johnson on the show around this, the second segment?
Yeah,
go
second
ahead and roll into the third.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, we always close our show with This Week in Geek History. Now, we always tell you can go check out the Facebook page. Give it a like, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and check out our website, twigradio.com, TWIG radio.com, for a list of all our sponsors. Please support our sponsors. And Brian, how can people find out about the podcast and listen to all our lovely shows?
So there's two ways. One, they can always go to Wgso.com. In the upper right is a podcast link. Just go down there, find Week in Geek. You can find all our podcasts there. But also, if you don't have a computer around or no radio, you can always download the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone or tablet. Not only can you listen to our show live from that app, but you can also check out the archives there as well.
Excellent. And, you know, I guess that's really about it.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to talk about new sponsors?
Yes, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Lord, man, I am just not... I don't know. There's something wrong with me today. Who do we have?
Well, our newest sponsor is Tacos and Tequila on 800 South Peters.
Si, senor.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fantastic. We were down there last week doing a remote, and now they're signed on. It's great.
And then we have nolashops.com, NOLASHOPS.com. They are kind of like a one-stop shop to find everything to do in New Orleans, where to shop, entertainment, music, all kinds of great stuff.
Art, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally...
Iconoclast Media, who was here a couple weeks ago doing some filming for us to do a commercial. They're a drone business, so they're looking, if you have something that you need to be filmed by drone, he's got an impressive setup that Inspire One drone is great.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about how they real estate agents want that, so they can get like a 360 aerial view of the property. So like say somebody's looking for a place to go hunting, you know, and they wanted to buy some property, they can actually get an aerial like reconnaissance view of the entire area before they buy it, as opposed to there's lots of trees and stuff.
Right.
I think there's a Bambi floating around somewhere.
Right.
So All right, well, you know what? Let's get to it because we got a lot of show to cover and not a lot of time to do it. So without much further ado, let's bring on my boy Skungy with his pick of the week.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Find them on the web at witsinn.com. Skungy's Pick of the Week.
I love lamp. I love lamp.
All right, Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
What's going on, gentlemen, on this wondrous day?
Not much, man. So what do you got for us today?
Mortal Kombat 10.
Get out.
Yes, not X. We learned our Roman numerals in school, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10, not X.
That's what that means.
Yes. So, no, it's the next installment in the Mortal Kombat series that, I mean, just about everybody is familiar with it. I mean, it's been around since the early 90s, and I'm really excited about it because I'm a huge fan of it. I mean, since the first time I was walking in a fun arcade and I heard, like, from across the arcade, a big finish him, and I'm like, well, I got to go check this out.
Finish him. Get over here.
Exactly.
So what makes this so much better than the rest of them? I mean, what is the big deal about this new Mortal Kombat?
Well, number one, it's the first one in the next generation of consoles, so better graphics, faster processing, more fluid movement. The cool thing with this one, with the last Mortal Kombat 9, they completely rebooted the story. So Mortal Kombat 9 did the stories of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. This one takes place 25 years later, so you get to see Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade's kids in the tournament now. So it's a whole new generation of fighters.
So Cage and Blade hooked up?
Of course they did. Come on.
Who? That old movie, the original movie, or the second one. What was it? Dax?
Yeah,
Dax.
I think so.
Jax.
Yeah, Jax. That's it. Jax. Dax. That's Deep Space Nine. So, all right, now. So what else is going on with that? I mean, I've heard some rumors floating around that Predator and not Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees. What's up with that?
Those are downloadable characters that are going to be available after the game releases through the Combat Pack, which is $30. So not only do you get when you get the Predator Pack comes with the Predator as a playable character, but also you get skins for characters, and it turns Jax into Carl Weathers from Predator.
What?
So I mean that's pretty cool. Each of the fighters, every fighter in the game, one of the other really cool things about every fighter in the game has 3 separate move sets. So, for instance, Raiden will have one of his sets is projectile, one of them's close combat, another one is like a trap. So, depending on how you want to play is which version of the character you want to play as.
So I'm assuming they obviously have fatalities because that's pretty much the entire concept of Mortal Kombat. Do they still have friendship? Did they bring friendships back?
No, they don't have friendships. They got fatalities, and they got what's called brutalities, which is just beating them to. I mean, fatalities are oh, cool, he cut his head off, or he used this to rip it in half. No, these are just please stop, somebody call the police. He's beating this person mercilessly. So,
no animalities either.
No.
Hey, what about Reptile?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Is Reptile in there?
Yeah, if I'm correct, Reptile is in here. He is. Reptile's in it again.
What about all the ninjas? I mean, how many ninjas do they have in it this time?
God, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Ermac, Smoke, Cyrax, all these other, the ninjas are kind of immortal, so they stay around the entire series.
Are there
Boone, the creator of Mortal Kombat, said that if Scorpion is not in Mortal Kombat, he didn't make that game.
Are there any pirates to combat all these ninjas?
No, this is a ninja-heavy game.
Yeah,
Ninjas win this one, not
all right.
others.
All right, now what about Shang Tsung and the dude with the 4 arms? Who was his name?
Goro. Actually, Goro. I actually got to kind of say this, but by pre-ordering the game, Goro is a playable character for the first time in the series.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
So you get to play as that's the Prince of the Netherrealm or whatnot.
So now that
Song of Course is in it again.
So now that game doesn't come out till when?
All right, it comes out on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, it comes out on Tuesday on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Now it got delayed until June on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Oh, so I have to wait till June?
Or you can get an Xbox One or...
Shut up. I'm not, you buy it for me.
Just get a PC, Dave.
No, nobody uses a PC for gaming.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Dude, like,
you don't count.
Esports is like one of the biggest industries in the world. Do you know how much money is put into like the production of, say, Fallout or, Call of Duty? Too much.
Speaking of PC, Brian, Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out next week as well on the PC, finally. It's 7-disc long.
I believe it.
What?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yes. That puts all 7 discs.
Dear God have mercy. All right, Skungy, well, thank you, man. I mean, so it's worth it. What is it, like $60, $70?
It's going to be $60, yeah. It's so worth it. And the combat pack's $30 as well, so you get all the extra characters.
Good deal. All right, Skungy, well, thank you, man. We'll talk to you again. No, not next week. You're off next week, huh?
Yeah, I'll be in the happiest place on earth, Disney World.
Disneyland, yay! All right, Skungy, we'll talk to you later then, buddy.
All right, guys.
All right, this is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
And we'll be right back after these short commercial messages. Spirits on Bourbon. Spirits on Bourbon. Come to 615 Bourbon, home of the resurrection. Try their gumbo, wings, couchon de lait, or a ribeye steak. Have a shot on Edward's barber chair or sit at his haunted table. Check out their website at spiritsonbourbon.com and watch their video from Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Come to Spirits on Bourbon for a haunting good time.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
Tacos and Tequila at 800 South Peter Street in the Warehouse District. Tacos, burritos, panuchos, quesadillas, all with your choice of chicken, chorizo, carne asada, or al pastor.
It's the best. Love it.
Open 7 days a week from 11 to 10 and 2 a.m. on the weekends. And don't forget happy hours from 4:30 to 6:30 every weekday at the Luchador Lounge. Tacos and Tequila. Find them on the web at tntnola.com.
Sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds.
Join the underground, the Media Underground, Media Underground Comics.
I'm doing my part.
Join Media Underground Comics at 4953 West Napoleon.
Would you like to know more?
Open Monday through Saturday from noon to 6.
Would you like to know more?
Then go to MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Outstanding!
We have the comics. We have the collectibles. We need you. Media Underground Comics, 4953 West Napoleon, and MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby and Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
Hello, this is Chris Walken. And if you've got a hankering for more cowbell, you can get it on The Week in Geek on WGSO 990 AM. Come on.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
All right, Brian.
Yes.
So, I guess all the information from today's show will be available on the podcast. And right now we have a very special guest on the phone. Brian, tell us all about him.
Les Johnson is on the line. He is a husband, father, physicist, manager, and he's an author of science fiction and science facts. So, Mr. Johnson, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Outstanding, sir. We're so glad that you can be here with us. So, aside from that little intro, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, I consider myself to be a futurist. I'm a science fiction fan. That's what got me interested in physics. By profession, I'm a physicist. In my day job, I work for NASA at the Marshall Space Flight Center. And for about the last 10 years or so, I've been writing science fiction novels for Baen Books and some books about space and space exploration for Springer. And I guess to cover it all up, I just believe we've got a positive future ahead of us, and let's get started with it.
No, that sounds great. And I'm guessing that does it make it easy as a physicist to write science fiction? I mean, you have like a truthful edge to what you're putting into it. It's not like you're just making weird things up and trying to make it make sense after the fact. So, I mean, how does that help?
Well, for me, I started out being a fan of science fiction, so it's a lot easier to come full circle. That's the reason I studied physics, is because I was a big Star Trek fan and read a lot of science fiction. And one thing I found is I liked science fiction that was plausible. So in the stuff I write, it might be in the future, and we might have speculative engineering, meaning we don't know how to build some of the stuff I talk about, but you won't find anything in my books that's kind of violating any known laws of physics. So I try to be as realistic as possible, but you still make stuff up or it wouldn't be fiction, right?
Oh yeah, of course. But it does make it much easier to immerse yourself in a body of work if it makes sense at the end, right?
Well, that's the goal. I mean, I'd like for the readers of my stuff to come away with it saying this could happen. And if I do that, then I've done my job. I hope I entertain them. For some, I hope I inspire, and for others, maybe some of the younger readers, I hope I get them inspired to maybe study science in the process, because it's going to make this future happen and hopefully take us to the stars someday.
No, that's great. So I think your last book was Rescue Mode, your science fiction work. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Yeah, I was really honored. One of my hero writers, a guy named Ben Bova, who's been writing science fiction for a long time, is a New York Times best-selling author. He had a story in a collection I edited, and the next thing I know, he's contacting me, asking me to co-author a book with him. So we did, and it's called Rescue Mode, and it's about a Mars mission in the 2030s that goes bad, basically. There's an accident that happens on the ship, and it becomes a tale of survival for the crew. So, fortunately, knowing my personality, things mostly turn out okay, but I'd leave it to the reader to figure out what happens and how that happens.
No, that's great. So, aside from that, I know we had talked briefly. You had mentioned another book you were working on that you wanted to talk about was Solar Sails, a novel approach to interplanetary travel. Is that one right?
Yeah, I sure would. That's one of my nonfiction books, and it's really my passion. If you look at someday how we might actually go to the stars, and I mean really go to the stars, as much as I enjoyed the movie Interstellar, and we had wormholes and singularities and black holes and all that stuff, that's pretty far out, and I'm not sure that's going to be physically possible. But if you look at ways we might go to the stars one day, one of the leading candidates is going with a solar sail, a big, large, reflective structure that reflects sunlight. And if you build a really, really big sail, say the size of a state like Alabama or Mississippi or even Texas, you can get trip times that are realistic to go to another star. And so the book Solar Sails is really describing for the interested person. You don't have to be an engineer or a scientist. It's written just for the average person.
Hey, that means Dave can read it.
Go ahead.
I said that means Dave can read it.
Well, I hope anybody can read it. It's a book about what they are, how they can be used in the near term, and then how we can move that technology to the point where it'll take us to the stars.
No, that's hey, I look forward to checking that out. I mean, I'm definitely interested in science fact. So we covered a little bit of fiction.
What about this is David, sir? The NASA just backed a dozen new research and development programs, almost about $13 million, trying to get us to Mars. Do you think we have a shot?
I think if we want to go to Mars, we can go. The question, and this is all my personal opinion, I mentioned I work for NASA, but anything I say on the show here, I have to let your listeners know is the personal opinion of Les Johnson, not a NASA viewpoint. But, we've had the technology with varying levels of risk to go to Mars for a long time now. In fact, I just was thumbing through an old book that was a catalog of studies done when Dr. Von Braun ran NASA at the Marshall Space Flight Center back in 1964. And he had a plan for going to Mars by the 1970s. They could have done it. It's just a matter of whether we have the will to put it together and spend the money it's going to take. Now, all these, the new technologies that you're talking about are all very important because the technologies are going to let us do it faster and reduce the risk of going. So, we definitely need to keep investing in technologies that are going to make it a safer trip. But it really ultimately comes down to, do we want to go or not? And if someone were to say go, we could be on Mars within 10 years.
See, that as an American, it makes me both sad and proud that, we have the ability, yet we don't seem to have the willpower because, this money that they're spending, it seems like a very paltry amount of money that they're putting into it. But, they're putting together, habitation projects and also the propulsion projects of what is it there? An electric propulsion technology. How does that differ from just the combustible rocket fuel we use for that? And tie in your solar sail option too.
Well, unfortunately, the solar sail might be good for a robotic mission to Mars, but it's not going to be very good for people because most of what you use a solar sail for is a very lightweight payload. You wouldn't be able to, propel something as massive as what you'd have to carry people. But in terms of electric propulsion, pardon me as I enter professor mode here, so
absolutely
so bear with me. A rocket is really just a fancy way of a hot gas being shot out of an engine one direction and you being pushed in the opposite direction. And the more efficiently you use your fuel, the less fuel you have to fly. It's like in your car, getting 30 miles to the gallon versus 60. Well, an electric propulsion system, instead of a hot gas, what it does is it uses electromagnetic energy to accelerate the propellant out the back of the engine. And what's nice about that is it's at least 10 times more efficient. So essentially you get like 10 times more miles per gallon of fuel with an electric propulsion system than you do a chemical rocket. And that's why it's so attractive, because you have a lot less propellant to launch to make it happen. And most, over half of all of the weight right now, if you're going to go with chemical rockets of going to Mars, is just launching the fuel you need to get there and back.
Wow.
So if you have something like a high-power electric propulsion system to give you a lot better efficiency, you can dramatically reduce the amount of fuel that you have to launch.
Whoops. Well, see, all right, and that makes perfect sense, especially with the, with all the rocket fuel in there. It would give us more space to actually put in, supplies, spare parts, especially if we're sending them to another planet. I think I'd like to have a few extra oxygen tanks with me if I was going to
Right.
Mars. Just saying. Well,
just in case.
Right, exactly. All right, well, we're talking with Les Johnson, an author extraordinaire, and we're getting ready to hit our news break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation, find out a little bit more, and where we can find his books on the internet and at bookstores. So stay tuned. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
And you are listening to WGSO 990 AM. So stay tuned and look for more information. You can find it at WGSO.com. And we'll have the podcast information right there where you can find his work. So stay tuned. This is WGSO 990 AM. Spirits on Bourbon. Spirits on Bourbon. Come to 615 Bourbon, home of the resurrection. Try their gumbo, wings, couchon de lait, or a ribeye steak. Have a shot on Edward's barber chair or sit at his haunted table. Check out their website at spiritsonbourbon.com and watch their video from Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Come to Spirits on Bourbon for a haunting good time.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits In Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
Tacos and Tequila at 800 South Peter Street in the Warehouse District. Tacos, burritos, panuchos, quesadillas, all with your choice of chicken, chorizo, carne asada, or al pastor.
It's the best. Love it.
Open 7 days a week from 11 to 10 and 2 a.m. on the weekends. And don't forget happy hours from 4:30 to 6:30 every weekday at the Luchador Lounge. Tacos and Tequila. Find them on the web at tntnola.com.
Sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds.
Gomez. The U.S. Capitol building is on lockdown after reports of a shooting nearby. This is happening at the height of the Cherry Blossom Festival when thousands of tourists pour into Washington, D.C. from all over the world. There have been posts on social media indicating someone may have taken their life, though that has not been confirmed. Hillary Clinton will soon be making it official. The Blaze's Tom Peace reports.
Most campaigns run on change.
Nina Easton of Fortune magazine talking about Democrat Hillary Clinton.
She is very much tied to a past.
Easton on Fox News special report, Clinton to make it official Sunday when she's expected to announce her candidacy for president. After the expected announcement, reports are Clinton will travel to the early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire to kick off her campaign.
Senator Marco Rubio of Florida also expected to announce his run for the White House on Monday. It's being called a historic handshake. President Obama met with his Cuban counterpart Raul Castro last night at a dinner in Panama City for the Summit of the Americas. The handshake marked the first face-to-face meeting between leaders of the two nations, which have been at odds for more than 50 years with each other. Obama and Castro are expected to spend more time together today at the meeting of Latin American leaders. Obama expected to announce the removal of Cuba from the U.S. list of nations that sponsor terrorism during the summit. A terror plot in Kansas leads to multiple arrests. The Blaze's Chris Vermillion has that story.
2 men in Kansas charged by the FBI, accused of planning a suicide attack against Fort Riley. The FBI says John Booker tells an informant that he hopes to kill Americans and wage jihad on behalf of ISIS. He's arrested while trying to arm a 1,000-pound bomb outside the Army post. Federal prosecutors also charging Alex Blair of Topeka for not reporting Booker's plans to the FBI.
I'm Joe Gomez with news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
Join the underground, the Media Underground, Media Underground Comics.
I'm doing my part.
Join Media Underground Comics at 4953 West Napoleon.
Would you like to know more?
Open Monday through Saturday from noon to 6.
Would you like to know more?
Then go to MediaUndergroundComics.com.
We have the comics. We have the collectibles. We need you. Media Underground Comics, 4953 West Napoleon, and MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me. Spirits on Bourbon. Spirits on Bourbon. Come to 615 Bourbon, home of the resurrection. Try their gumbo, wings, couchon de lait, or a ribeye steak. Have a shot on Edward's barber chair or sit at his haunted table. Check out their website at spiritsonbourbon.com and watch their video from Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Come to Spirits on Bourbon for a haunting good time.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
Hello, Commander. In response to the alien threat, you must listen to the Weekend Geek on 990 AM WGSO.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to the Week in Geek on WGSO 990 AM. This is Brian Held with
David Ducorbier.
And we're speaking with Les Johnson, an author, a physicist. And hey, Les.
Hey.
Hey. So before
like, boo! Yeah. Are you still there?
So before we left, we were talking about all kind of really cool science and your solar sails. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is the Planetary Society is going to be launching 2 spacecraft in May on an Atlas V rocket. You want to talk about that?
Well, actually, yeah, I know all about that. The Planetary Society has 2 solar sails. They're small sails. They're going to be about 30 square meters. If your audience is like me, you don't think metric, but that's kind of, think of a meter is about 3 foot on a side. They're actually launching one in May. It's called Light Sail A, and it's going to be in Earth orbit, and it's going to deploy and be the first private flight of a solar sail. And then they have their second flight a year from now, where they're going to do a lot more complex maneuvers and test out how you navigate and maybe fly around in Earth orbit with the sail. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, no, that sounds great. I mean, did you consult on any of that, or?
Well, in my day job at NASA, we're actually working a little bit with the Planetary Society. We have at NASA some solar sail projects, and we're talking to them and kind of learning from what they're doing, and they're finding out what we're doing. So we're trying to collaborate in the sense of sharing information.
Oh, no, that sounds great. Now,
we want to talk about aliens.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about aliens.
So real quick, we know that you write some nonfiction articles for Bain Books, right?
I do.
And Dave, we were talking before the show, and he mentioned that you might know about the aliens, and I noticed that you wrote an article specifically about aliens. You want to tell Dave about it?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. Yeah, I get a lot of questions when I travel around. People inevitably ask me about, are we being visited? Are there flying saucers happening? Or are aliens here on Earth today? And, I've never seen anything that could be classified as something, unknown like that. But I started thinking about the problem, and I wrote an essay called The Aliens Are Not Among Us. And I guess the title kind of gives away my opinion on that. We've had a civilization, a technology thinking about space travel for less than 100 years. And if you look at our whole civilization, it goes back 2,000 years. Well, if you look at the history of our planet, it's 4.5 billion years old, and the universe is like 13 billion years old. So I had to ask the question, what's the probability of aliens coming to visit us at a time when we imagine that we have space travel? We're starting to have space travel and can think about that kind of thing. And what's the likelihood that they would be at a comparable level of development to us and just happen to be here at this time? And the answer I concluded is about 0. It's far more likely if aliens ever visited the Earth that came during the time of the dinosaurs, because the dinosaurs were around for like 160 million years. So just looking at the odds, I think it's pretty low that we're being visited.
So
that doesn't mean that I don't think there are aliens out there somewhere. I just don't think they're here.
So if it'd be fair to say that it's not impossible, but it's not probable, right?
Oh, that's what I would say. I'd be foolish to say it's not possible, because I think in a few hundred years we might be going to another planet and be somebody else's aliens. But the likelihood of them being here now is just really, really small.
I completely agree with that statement. Ellen Stofan, the chief scientist for NASA, was saying that we will probably find definitive evidence of alien life in the next 10 to 20 years. Of course, everybody's assuming she meant little green men, but I mean, we're probably talking more on the cellular amoebic kind of life form. Is that kind of what she was getting at?
I think she's talking about any kind of life, whether that be some kind of bacterium in one of the outer planets of our own solar system, or evidence of life on an exoplanet, some planet around another star. In a few decades, we're going to have telescopes that not only will be able to take maybe some distant, blurry pictures of these planets around other stars, but more importantly, you'll be able to do what's called spectroscopy and look for gases in their atmosphere. And life as we know it, no flatulence jokes, please, but life as we know it puts out certain gases that our telescopes and instruments could probably detect. So, I think in not too distant future, we'll have a clue if there's other life out there somewhere.
That's just exciting.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Hey, I'm noticing you have a book, Back to the Moon.
That's right.
Yeah, what is that one about?
It was my first novel. I co-wrote it with a friend of mine, Travis Taylor, who's also an engineer in Huntsville. And it's about, this whole development of private commercial spaceflight that's been happening, coincident with the fact that China's talking about going to the moon. And it's another near-term science fiction story about, what if the Chinese are attempting to do what we did in the 60s and send their astronauts to the moon. And at about the same time, we've got our private commercial folks taking people around the moon on tours. How is that going to play out in the politics? And what if something were to happen that brings those two into conflict? So it's kind of a science fiction adventure story set in the 2020s. And realistically, I think the stuff in there could play out.
Great.
Well, I guess one final question before we let you go, and we truly appreciate all the time you've given us today. Asteroids, there was another one about how what is it? I already forgot the dang thing. But how we're talking about trying to lasso in an asteroid and get some of the mining. I mean, just kind of to tie it in with your Back to the Moon series. I mean, is there anything where they're going to try to start mining ores, et cetera, where if a corporation finds that it's lucrative to get us off this planet, do you think that would kind of put a little pep in their step to get us off this rock?
You and I should have talked about this because that's actually the sequel to Back to the Moon that Travis and I are writing right now. It's a story about the same commercial firm going out and looking at asteroid mining and mining an asteroid and sending stuff back to the Earth and what that would do in terms of the economy and how that would all be done. So you're a great straight man. That's exactly what we're writing about, and that book will come out from Baen Books, my publisher, in about a year. So, yeah, I think it's very possible. I don't think it's going to happen next year, but I think in the next 20 years it's entirely possible.
And the Baen Books, Baen.com is a perfect segue into where are all the places that we can find you on the net.
And buy your books.
Absolutely, yeah. My website is lesjohnsonauthor.com. I tried to get the other site with just my name, but somebody's cyber squatting on it, so I couldn't get it. So it's www.lesjohnsonauthor, all one word.com. I'm on Facebook at Les Johnson Author. And my books are basically available wherever. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Barnes & Noble. You can get them directly from the publishers by Baen.com, B-A-E-N, or Springer Books for my popular science books. They're Springer Books on the Internet. So it's pretty widely available. They're also in ebook if you prefer that. The iBookstore has them, and they're also available in Kindle.
Great. Well, Les, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and telling all of our fans about you.
Well, thanks for having me on. It was fun. It went by pretty quick.
And I feel smarter already, so thank you, because I needed a few extra IQ points to end the day.
You flatter me too much. I'll send you a check later.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right, that's Les Johnson, LesJohnsonAuthor.com. All right, you know what? We're getting ready to hit the next break, but before we do that, we should probably do a word of the day.
We should.
Let's do it. We're going to do the word of the day.
And now it's time for the word of the day.
Hell, you could say that 10,000 times and it still wouldn't be enough. It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time. Shake and bake!
The word of the day.
I love it. Say it one more time. Shake and bake!
The word of the day is brought to you by Tacos and Tequila. Find them at 800 South Peter Street or TNTNOLA.com. The word of the day.
Come on, let me tell you what it's all about. What's the word?
Can you pronounce it?
Badinage.
Badinage.
Badinage?
Yes.
Get out.
Yes, badinage.
Badinage matois?
Yes. What? And it's light, playful banter or raillery to banter with or tease someone playfully.
In the bedroom. That's what you do with a fortune cookie, right?
Yes, that's what you do with a fortune cookie, not our word of the day.
Oh, well, but, we should totally do that now. Ding!
No.
Light bulb.
But Badinage is our whole show.
It is light, playful banter, except when I get really mad.
Well, yes. No nerd rage.
Then it's not even playful. I ain't playing, man. So, all right, Badinage. See, I thought it was Badinage.
Yeah.
That was Badinage. Yeah, you know what? Let's go to break, because when we come back, we are going to wrap up the show with This Week in Geek History. Guys, you know, we're going to try to do a little bit of top nerd news for you. And we got one or two things that really we should probably get to before we say adios. Yeah, Daredevil. So when we come back, we're going to do a quick top nerd news and then run into This Week in Geek History. So stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
And stay tuned. This is WGSO 990 AM. Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds. Tacos and tequila at 800 South Peter Street in the Warehouse District. Tacos, burritos, panuchos, quesadillas, all with your choice of chicken, chorizo, carne asada, or al pastor.
It's the best. Love it.
Open 7 days a week from 11 to 10 and 2 a.m. on the weekends. And don't forget happy hours from 4:30 to 6:30 every weekday at the Luchador Lounge. Tacos and tequila. Find them on the web at tntnola.com.
Sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Join the underground, the Media Underground, Media Underground Comics.
I'm doing my part.
Join Media Underground Comics at 4953 West Napoleon.
Would you like to know more?
Open Monday through Saturday from noon to 6.
Would you like to know more?
Then go to MediaUndergroundComics.com.
We have the comics. We have the collectibles. We need you. Media Underground Comics, 4953 West Napoleon, and MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me. Spirits on Bourbon. Spirits on Bourbon. Come to 615 Bourbon, home of the resurrection. Try their gumbo, wings, couchon de lait, or a ribeye steak. Have a shot on Edward's barber chair or sit at his haunted table. Check out their website at spiritsonbourbon.com and watch their video from Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Come to Spirits on Bourbon for a haunting good time.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
To crush your enemies, to see them driving before you, and hear the lamentations of their women.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
All right, Brian, you know what? Just one quick reminder. You can find today's podcast at WGSO.com or the TuneIn Radio app as well. So, you know, look, we'll have links to all of Les Johnson's novels on the website, LesJohnsonAuthor.com. So check it out. All right, now we've got to do top nerd news, and then we're going to roll into This Week in Geek History. So, top nerd news.
now, our top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by Media Underground Comics. Find them on the World Wide Web at MediaUndergroundComics.com. And now, your top nerd news stories.
All right, Brian. So, what's the top story? What's the first one?
So we have Marvel officially announced who's going to direct Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2. And that's the Russo brothers, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And look, let me tell you what, after Captain America, I'm totally psyched.
Well, yeah, the Winter Soldier was phenomenal. I mean, they did a great job of taking today's world and putting it into the book and the movie and really making it understandable to the country as a whole. So you didn't have to be brushed up on comic book lore to understand the movie.
Oh, no.
Americans giving up their freedoms every day is actually happening.
Right. And I mean, the really scary part is how well it fit into the current narrative at the time of all the NSA, the Edward Snowden stuff, all that stuff going on. And, they wrote that, 12, 15, 16 months ahead of that, all of that. So that was kind of crazy.
Avengers of Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2 by the Russo boys. Hey, Phil the Patriot, thank you for calling. We just don't have enough time today, buddy. I appreciate you calling, though, man. Keep listening.
Oh, yes.
All right, what's next?
We got Star Wars rumors from the next trailer.
Oh, yeah. And it's coming out this...
May 1st?
Yeah, so 2 weeks from now.
Yes, I know.
So awesome.
Age of Ultron. Yes, I know. So
what's going to be in the trailer? And this is all conjecture.
It's all conjecture. Right? We're not sure, but we're going to see Han Solo, Princess Leia, R2-D2, C-3PO, but no Luke Skywalker.
Well, we just saw him in the Flash as the prankster.
Well,
they would do in all his 80s glory. They showed his costumes. It was
Are you talking about that DC show?
Yeah, the Flash.
Okay,
Flash.
No, I don't watch that.
You're a squad. So what else are we gonna see?
Let's see. We're gonna see Kylo Ren's helmeted face. A shot of a clone.
What is that? The Chrome Trooper. Wait, is that just a typo? It's supposed to be Clone Trooper.
I'm not sure. Look, there were people freaking out about the Stormtroopers and the coloring and stuff, but I think that was a lighting effect. I mean, there's all kind of crazy stuff. All kind of rumors flying around. So we don't know. Potentially going to see the old stomping grounds of the rebellion, Yavin.
And what about BB-8?
He's going to be socketed into the back of an X-wing.
Ooh, just like R2.
Yeah.
And let's see, what was the other one? There was something really cool that they're going to bump into somebody. Poe Dameron shoots down a TIE fighter in a second shot with him hanging out with R2 and C-3PO.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. And then what's the final thing?
We're going to see Darth Vader's helmet resting on a podium.
Yeah! and I'm so excited. And in the top nerd news, it's DC. So is it okay that I talk about it?
I like the Nolan Batman flick, so you can talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, Batman helped save the life of a 66-year-old man in the Crescent City Classsic.
Yeah.
Right here in town.
I know.
The 66-year-old man was actually running in the Crescent City Classsic. It was almost to the finish line. I guess he got too excited and had a heart attack. And sure enough, Batman swoops in to save the day. He and another paramedic give the man CPR, put the paddles on him, shock him back into life. And here's the cool part. Batman didn't finish the race.
Yeah.
He hops in the ambulance with the guy and goes to the hospital just to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, but he said he's going to do it again next year. It's all good.
Right. So Batman really is a hero. And he's from DC.
And there was a lot of cool stuff. A bunch of 501st folks did the Crescent City Classsic.
Oh, that's right.
And they were out there for the Lymphoma Society, and my buddy Dave was also for Team Fox with Parkinson's. So,
yeah, and didn't he buy a new Star?
We can't talk about that.
Starship Troopers?
Yes.
Starship
right.
Troopers? I love that movie. All right, so moving on. Now we got to close our show with a little segment we like to call This Week in Geek History. What? Hey. Oh, no. Do the intro. The intro. Right above it. Right below it. One or the other. This Week History. There you go.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my gosh!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop. Check them out at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, the nerd mecca. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my
right, what's first?
All right, first on the list is really cool because we were talking so much space stuff. On April 6, 1973, Pioneer 11 is launched to study the asteroid belt and the environment surrounding Jupiter and Saturn, and it discovered new rings.
You said asteroid. You said asteroid.
You are so juvenile.
What's next?
Next is April 6, 1992. Microsoft releases its Windows 3.1 operating system.
Nice. You know what? You know what game I'm going to play when I get home?
What?
Asteroids.
I see a running theme here. You're so ridiculous.
What's next?
This one's really cool. I like the old ones. April 7, 1927. The first distant public TV broadcast was made. It went from Washington, D.C. to New York City, and the image displayed was Herbert Hoover.
Oh, actually, on April 10th of 1944, the Across the Ether or About the Ether aired on 3 TV stations simultaneously across the country. And About the Ether was a TV show about how American citizens were patrolling the radio waves in search of Nazi spies and sending information. And it was all in reference to the Federal Communications Commission.
Nice.
So the FCC actually performed decent services back then, as opposed to now they just troll around making sure nobody says bad words. I know. I'm just going to go live on an asteroid. What's next?
Wow. Let's see. April 7, 1969.
69.
Request for comments. It's RFC number 1 is published, symbolizing the internet's birth. It's it's like a document for people, scientists, developers in the internet community who developed the internet.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a publication put out. It's a very technical publication. It's open-ended, and it's cool. It's an item of history. That's awesome.
Do you need a PC to understand it?
Moving on. April 9th, 2004. A little British horror comedy starring directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
was released.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Yeah, it's awesome. And here's one. Even though I hate it so much, I put it in here. April 11th, 1976. Sees the release of the Apple I, the early personal computer designed and hand-built by Steve Wozniak for the low price of $666.66.
Wow, that's a lot of sixes.
Yes, it's the mark of the beast. That's why I hate Apple so much.
But yeah, I had the Apple IIe, so all right.
Right.
Now, what birthdays? Let's do some birthdays real quick before we have to hit the road.
All right, well, I'm just going to rattle them off here. Okay. This week, birthdays, Billy D. Williams.
Hey, Lando.
Intergalactic Spaceman.
Billy D. for Colt 45.
Yep. Russell Crowe.
Hey, the Gladiator.
Yes. Jackie Chan.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
Jackie.
yeah.
He's got tons of great movies.
John Schneider. You recognize him?
No.
Bo Duke.
Oh, gosh. Really?
Yeah, and he was also in Smallville. Another DC production. There you go.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Way to tie it back in.
Robin Wright Penn. Princess Buttercup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And Dennis Quaid.
Up yours! Independence Day. That was great.
Yeah.
I picked a bad day to quit drinking. All right, guys. It's been a great show. To find out more, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Weekend Geek. Follow us on Twitter @Twig Radio. Check out the website, twigradio.com. Please support our sponsors. Tell them you heard it right here on The Weekend Geek. So, this is David Ducorbier with
Brian Held.
Until next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Leave the the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds. Tacos and Tequila at 800 South Peter Street in the Warehouse District. Tacos, burritos, panuchos, quesadillas, all with your choice of chicken, chorizo, carne asada, or al pastor.
It's the best. Love it.
Open 7 days a week from 11 to 10 and 2 a.m. on the weekends. And don't forget happy hours from 4:30 to 6:30 every weekday at the Luchador Lounge. Tacos and Tequila. Find them on the web at tntnola.com.
Sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Join the underground, the Media Underground, Media Underground Comics.
I'm doing my part.
Join Media Underground Comics at 4953 West Napoleon.
Would you like to know more?
Open Monday through Saturday from noon to 6.
Would you like to know more?
Then go to MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Outstanding!
We have the comics. We have the collectibles. We need you. Media Underground Comics, 4953 West Napoleon, and MediaUndergroundComics.com.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
This is Michael Savage. Join me in the Savage Nation, weeknights, 9 p.m. to midnight, right here on 990 AM WGSO in New Orleans. Give me 15 minutes and I'll give you the real America.
Savage. This is happening at the height of cherry blossom season, when thousands of tourists pour into Washington, D.C. from all over the world. The black motorist who was gunned down by a white police officer has been laid to rest today in South Carolina. Hundreds of people attended the funeral services for Walter Scott, including some members of Congress. James Stewart, an attorney representing the Scott family, says though today was hard, their belief in a higher power got them through it.
You would assume that they're devastated, but all of those assumptions would be incorrect, because this family has shown you time and time again that the thing that guides them is faith.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
Two big names could enter the race for 20